Hey everyone, today we're walking down the Gronin access road to Beaver Lake. We're going to see what it looks like. We haven't been here in about 3 months. That's because this has been the driest summer we've ever had on record, and the beavers just weren't building back with minimal flow. But the past few days, we picked up a few inches of rain. The waterways raged for about 1 day. They're all going back to normal. Well, not normal. Dried up. We're going to see if the beavers have built back anything at this abandoned dam. The forest looks really nice. This area looks like it very quickly recovered from the drought. It looks like we're the first ones on the trail this morning. I'm getting a lot of spider webs in the face. The water here sounds louder than normal. Yep, the last time we came by here, this was almost dried up. Look at the debris that was recently placed here by the river. It was definitely higher yesterday at its peak. This bridge looks like it's becoming eroded. The foundation, it's all crooked. That bridge would have to be replaced if they ever open this access road back up to replace the dam. Wow, the vegetation grew so tall over the summer. Here we come. It looks like it's filled back up pretty well. You don't see any rings around the edge of the pond, unless grass just grew, which looks like it. Yeah, that's partially the case. That's exactly what it is. We're definitely not as full as it once was. It was like another 2 feet taller the first time we ever came out here. Is there any beaver dam? Let's see. Definitely a beaver dam. I see sticks poking out. Yeah, we got a dam in there. Not the biggest dam we've ever seen. This thing was filled 2 feet higher than it was supposed to be at one point. I can tell right here a lot of people have been walking over this. It's all crushed down. It's no longer sticks that are grinding it into a flat surface. Look at this bridge. Someday someone's gonna fall through this thing. It probably should have another support in the center of it, but it just doesn't. See a lot of slime. The beavers were able to use a lot of slime to build this dam. It's not the most watertight dam. It looks like the beavers have kind of given up, or they just haven't had enough water before these couple days. All right, let's get started with this unclogging. Take a look at that in the water. Lots of caterpillar poops. They kind of look like little grenades when they all swell up. They got that pineapple pattern to them. All right, everyone, here we go. We're going to give you a little bit of a different camera angle. We've never set up here in the mud before. That water is so nice and refreshing. It feels like we're getting ready for winter. It's ice cold. This water also smells really good. It smells so clean and pure. It's crystal clear. You might not be able to see with the glare on the water, but that is extremely crystal clear. We can see to the bottom of the entire lake. Even in the center here, I can see very nicely. All right, everyone. We got some really good flow going here today after a couple days recently of rain. Look at this big pile we've removed over the past year. Not as big as I remember. The water is slowly, it's rotting out and it's crushing down over time. I doubt that pile will ever catch up to our uncloggings. It'll get taken out eventually. Now I gotta take back what I said earlier. This forest does not look good like it did back coming in on the access road. A lot of these pine trees are dying. Those were bright green back in the spring in our earlier videos. And just look on the other side of the lake. So many trees turning orange. That definitely won't be surviving the winter. You shouldn't be seeing fall foliage already. It's a good month or two early. Not a good thing. Now some people may wonder, how are these trees being affected by the drought when they're right next to the water? That's because a lot of pine trees, their root systems only go down about 2 feet. And that's a problem. It causes major die-outs when you don't get the proper rain. This area, you'll start to see trees dying after just a few weeks. Never mind months. This place has been neglected for such a long time. I remember years ago, this right here used to be a nice platform for viewing wildlife. Bench is gone. The entire trail leading to it from the back is overgrown. Lots of good sludge for beavers to build more dams. Yeah, you see right here is a good example. You see how the trees don't really come down to the ground all the way? And that actually might be a beaver house. The beavers around here do a lot of burrowing in the ground and make a lot of tunnels, like the time we explored this entire lake. Now you see how the trees aren't able to get down to the water line. And that's the case for millions of acres around New England, and that's why a lot of the trees are dying out. Because you would think the ground from the water would just absorb up through it, but it's not. It's too porous. Drainage is too well for this kind of sandy, rocky soil. It's not good. The forest got too used to the past 2 decades of above average rainfall. But now this lake is probably going to drop another 4 inches. That's where it should be. I remember every time I've ever come here, this thing has been clogged by the beavers. And that's nothing new. That's going back 20 years since I was a really little kid coming here. It's always been neglected. I've never seen this place in a... Well, I've seen it better before the whole dam was crumbled. I used to walk across that rock dam, but now it's just completely destroyed because when the beavers, before we started unclogging this, they would have the water level up to here, another 2 feet or so. That would wreak havoc on that dam that's not supposed to see those water levels. The entire surface of the water would freeze in the wintertime, expanding into the dam. That's why it's all cracked and crumbling, and it could lead to a major failure at some point. It doesn't look that good on the other side. The extra pressure could erode underneath the structure. I don't know how far that would go down. If it's built correctly, that dam should go down pretty far, but who knows what kind of failure could occur. What's up and over this hill? It looks like a dip. Is there a swamp? Anything interesting? Oh, wow, there is water here. And this is a pretty nice trail, probably made by people coming to take pictures of animals. It's not a bad trail. And look, there's a beaver lodge right there. We never even noticed. So this is one of the small streams that is feeding Beaver Lake. By the evidence of the grass pushed over on the sides, this was raging a lot more a few days ago. It looks very nice. It really does. There's a lot more beaver dams and different levels of beaver ponds on the far side. So this is a beaver lodge right here. There's at least 6 others on the lake that we know of. This may or may not be lived in. It doesn't look like it's been maintained recently. But then again, it's possible. They've definitely extended the entrance down to deal with the water drops. Got some good flow in there. Here's the water trickling. Where I'm standing right now would have had about a foot of water back when the beavers used to always jam this thing up. Now it's got a decent beach for exploring. And some moose tracks. Beavers haven't been that active this year. Here's some more flow. There's a lot of these small trickling streams. I'm kind of surprised this area doesn't have any ducks or Canada geese. They would absolutely love this type of grass. They would love to graze here. You see, the beavers had clogged this thing for so many decades that it literally got used to this, but now it's finally starting to grow in again. The thickets will eventually make it down here. Not much of a lake, right? It's considered a lake, and it's definitely not for its depth. This whole thing is so shallow. I could probably walk across it here with my big high boots if I wasn't too scared about getting stuck in the mud. And there's a giant landslide over there. We'll go take a look at that in a moment. There's a little bit of trickling coming out of here. The beavers probably have plans of flooding this again if we keep getting some decent rain. Oh, look at that. That looks like bear poop. We recently had a bear here. Bears have actually been a problem this year. I've never encountered this problem before. I've always set up trail cameras with food, seeing what we could attract. First time I saw a bear coming by multiple times this year. We had to suspend any of that until winter when they're in hibernation. Don't want to be attracting bears. They'll smell you. They'll know that a human put the food there for them, and it'll just encourage them to come closer to buildings. I know a lot of people this year have been dealing with a lot of bear break-ins and going through trash cans. It's because when the environment's dry, they can't find as much food, so they have to come into neighborhoods sometimes to steal stuff out of gardens or garbage cans. It's an easy, usually high-protein meal when they go into a trash can. Now this mud right here looks like something I could potentially get stuck in. And I see lots of beaver building out here. Nothing fresh, but you see, beavers will make these little canals. They excavate all these canals into the forest so they can move around undetected in safety. Right there looks like either a loon house or maybe a duck house. Would have been that house's intention. Yeah, the beavers are the one who excavate between all these plants. It's pretty cool. All the structures they build. See some of them going pretty deep. They actually go like 50 feet into the forest. Some of them. So you got to be kind of careful where you walk. See this lodge, how far away from the edge it is? Completely hidden. Here's another big lodge. It is also possible that beaver trappers have been here. That might be why they're definitely not as active, because if there was a healthy amount of beavers here, they would have definitely jammed that whole thing up in these couple days of rain. There's no excuse for this thing not being full. I know there's at least a few here, considering that there was a small beaver dam. But other than that, I think they may have trapped them. What do you guys think of that giant landslide that happened quite a few years ago? Whole train track up there just let loose. It had a landslide so much. Look at the root balls that were on that hill. It pushed them out into the water and created little islands with a beaver lodge out on that one. I got a spring video of the place when I was out there looking at frogs. Look at this, beavers hollowed out underneath this big tree. You see their tunnel going a ways into the woods. Somewhere up here, like I might even be walking over some beaver tunnels. This is the only place I've ever seen that's been so elaborate with beaver tunnels out in the woods. So you can see all these sinking crevices where there's likely beavers under there. And you can see here, a good 30, 40 feet from the water, there's beaver structures there, and the majority of it's under my feet. So I could potentially fall down into something. And here's what I was talking about, the different levels of the beaver pond. This beaver dam doesn't look the newest either, but that's a lot of beneficial water storage up here where it won't hurt anyone. I see the water lines, that's definitely not full. That's like 6 inches down. It was probably a lot worse before the recent rain. And there are a few even smaller ponds further up the stream, but it's good to see the streams flowing, at least. Anyways, everyone, I hope today's video was interesting. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Check out this really small beaver pond. This is kind of cool. It's so small. It's literally just a water reserve that they built. Look at the size of this tiny dam.